With pick 28, the Gold Coast Suns have selected Avery Thomas from the Tasmanian Devils and the Launceston Football Club.
So Avery, a defender with a lot of athletic attributes, finished top 10 in the 20-metre sprint agility test and vertical jumps at the Combine, so a great tester.
Yeah, I just think Isaac Quainer, when you look at Avery Thomas, he's a boy, his dad had West Indian and English blood, so he's a boy that has got all those athletic abilities that Quainer has got. He can jump, he can run, he's agile. He won the Devil of the Year, which is an award for the boy that was the best pro, the best work ethic, which are wonderful things to see next to his name. He played for the Allies this year. Loved the way he handled that step up from being an under-18 player for Tassie in the Coach Talent League to play national championships. That athletic ability, you mentioned it, was pretty special. So they've earmarked him, Avery Thomas, as one that they want to see up there at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, just unflappable. We don't collaborate on this by any stretch, but I had Isaac Quainer written two-shifter. He's not a big possession winner, Avery Thomas, but very, very effective with ball in hand, makes smart decisions, chock full of power. He tested 5th in the agility test and 4th in the 20-metre sprint. Had a couple of injuries, suffered the broken nose during the course of the year, but a very promising athlete that covers the ground in a manner that very few can.
With pick 30, Melbourne have selected Thomas Matthews from Gippsland Power and the Moe Football Club.
So was named Gippsland captain in 2025, a pretty ferocious small forward, and looked like he was starting to really elevate his game before injury struck. So 4 matches due to a PCL this year. Another story of someone that's done a serious knee injury, but clubs are looking past that to the future.
Well, the key is play well when you get the chance, and he played in a young guns game for Vic Country in a trial, getting ready for champs this year. Kicked the winning goal right at the end, 4 goals, really set himself up. Had a great 17th year. As a result, ends up captain of Gippsland Power at the start. And then it all didn't go to plan, but the clubs go back over it, don't worry. They've watched them very, very closely right through that 17th year. We're watching those games early, and what a turnaround for this young fella. Would have been pretty flat for most of the year, having had that injury just as the year started, but rewarded because the clubs are now starting to look to long-term future. They can put up with someone that's 6 months away from
be
playing
patient
if they think they've got the talent.
Yeah, Lockie Schultz type for mine. I mean, Jason Taylor and Tim Lamb don't get too many wrong at the Melbourne Footy Club, and they're not in rebuild mode. I think they're in replenish, is what I think the Melbourne Footy Club's at. But this kid, Thomas Matthews, his recovery skills are sublime. When he gets involved in a contest, he's knocked off balance or happens to get knocked to the ground, his ability to recover is exceptional. Very, very dangerous at stoppage inside forward 50, and he's an opportunist. Very, very good hand to foot. He's got a quick release. So, you know, Charlie Spargo goes out. I think he's a nice young prospect to replace that gap on the list.
With pick 31, Richmond have selected Zane Piker from Woodville, West Torrens and Port District Football Club.
So Shifter, a small forward who played some SANFL under-18s, hits the scoreboard and a very consistent ball winner. Yeah,
and a great part of their winning unit too, this young fella. Power-packed little small forward. He's not that tiny. He's about the 179 mark, not far under the old 6 foot in the old. But, yeah, showed pace too when tested, 2.95 for 20. Fierce little competitor, strong in the air as well for his size. And one that, yeah, there's a lot of interest in. Still not even 18 years of age. These boys are pretty young, turns that in December next month, so he'll have quite a party, I think, at that point. It's only a couple of weeks away, so what a great effort it was for him. He was dominant in one of the big games when they played Vic Metro. It's always a traditional challenge for SA to go up against the Vics, and was very important in that very, very big win over Vic Metro.
With pick 32, Collingwood have selected Tyan Prindable from the Brisbane Lions Academy and the Coorparoo Junior Football Club.
So the Brisbane Lions electing not to match the bid here. A very capable, strong midfielder, Mick. Yeah,
and there we go, Sarah. There's another one that's been prepared by another football club and makes their way. And Craig McRae, very, very happy there. Look, his ability to to spread and especially on the turnover is exceptional. He's got equal ability on both sides of the body, left and right. And you just watch him shift. I've got clean with exclamation marks all over the page. This kid doesn't fumble. So strong inside contested type, played 5 VFL games this year and makes his way to the Pies.
Yeah, another lefty too. Oh, gee, how many have we had? Maybe a dozen or so, I'd think, of left footers, and a real pro. He got his opportunity with the Allies too this year. The gaps opened up with a couple of boys from the Gold Coast that were injured, and in he come, and right from the start he was right up to the standard. He's very composed, so professional in his preparation, leaves nothing to chance. He's the best preparer, they felt, at the Brisbane Lions Academy for getting ready to play and for recovering and coming up again. So that level of consistency then comes into his game. That translates into being the sort of player that can succeed in the AFL.
We can see there our Fox Sports Lab had him ranked at 80, so getting picked up at number 32 is a bit of a bolter, but as you say, still a very highly regarded and accomplished player, so different opinions of different clubs.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're doing a fantastic job too, the Brisbane Lions, at getting quality talent through their academy. These aren't guys that are being picked in the back end of the draft. This is high-end talent, and again, we've got another player that makes his way onto a different club's list. He'll adapt very, very quickly through the experience that he's had. And as I mentioned earlier, Collingwood Footy Club look happy to get him through the door.
With pick 35, the Sydney Swans have selected Javan Philippou from the Woodville West Torrens and Phantoms Football Club.
So the brother of Mateus Philippou from St Kilda, a well-performed junior with great running ability, Shifter.
Yeah, state decathlete, so an all-rounder. And again, a boy that missed national championships through injury but still played a good majority of the year, was dominant at under-18 level and so switched up to senior level, half a dozen games at senior level, which showed many of the scouts that this guy's ready for an AFL draft position with his talent. He's got all of the tricks in the world, skillful on both sides of the body. Isn't that important when you're playing midfield, that you can exit either right or left, hand or foot? And his future playing position, can play lots of type roles with his athletic ability, whether it be forward, through midfield, even across half-back. A boy of about the 183 centimetre mark, so a nice 6-footer. Yeah, just his ball use is at the elite level, and so was some of that form at senior level.
Yeah, I think he's ready-made. That's what he looks to me in terms of his physical development. I got a bit of Elliot Yeo about him, Shifter, when I watched him play, and he's not one of those that he's not a kick-first player, he's not a handball distributor, he's got a really nice balance of when to execute by hand or foot. Played 6 league games over the course of this year at Woodville West Torrens, and he's a very handy pickup. As we see there, Sarah, in the Fox Sports Lab rank at 17. To get out to 35 is an absolute steal for the Swans.
With pick 42, the Sydney Swans have selected Billy Cootie from Norwood and the Essendon Duda Stars.
So a well-accomplished SANFL player who can really hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, the Swans, they've pulled one out of the box here. He's, as you mentioned, Sarah, I mean, we've seen what the Swans have done in terms of their mids and their ability to replenish. We saw last year with, their high half-forward types, and they've gone for another player that's got that ability, Shifter, to put a score on the board and boost their scoring prowess.
This is a big bolter, Shifter. He was unranked on our Fox Sports list.
And that's the beauty of the whole process in my mind, and a boy prepared to switch states as well, to look for an opportunity to get over to the Sandful and push his name up amongst them. I always say there's 5,000 contenders, to be quite honest, that play state legal with the hopes and dreams of getting their way through to play AFL. And we get close to 1,000 that nominate. They think that their time's now. And it only needs one club to like you, not the whole lot to agree. They don't agree on what you need to make it at the highest level. And obviously the Swans have seen enough with Billy to call him out. You know, maybe they've told him, maybe he's been hidden away, but wonderful to see him get his opportunity and be another one of those hidden diamonds.
Pick 47, Carlton have matched the bid for Jack Ison from the Oakley Chargers and the Parkside Junior Football Club.
And there is the Parkside Junior Football Club. Gosh, we've been waiting for this one for a while. Just given the name that Jack is, he has been a really accomplished junior footballer. We've been expecting it to come. He's probably slipped a long way down than what we expected, but how thrilled he will be to be at Carlton.
Yes, and qualifies under that NGA rule. He's an Indigenous boy and really had that moment this year where he was rotated out of the Vic Metro team for a game and then put in for the next one. He saw that as a real challenge to him. An affront to him, if you like, and then took off from there. He grabbed the bit, dominated then in the back half of the year and had some games that probably Carlton and others had seen coming because he's a natural talent. He's a left footer again at 190 centimetres. I thought he was a bit like a young Jack McRae, you know, that was coming through the system at Oakley years ago and ends up an All-Australian on 2 occasions and now contributing to St Kilda. So had some really elite talent, did Jack Ison, and eye-catching performances and one that, well, they would have been prepared to match that bit a wee bit earlier, I think. Yeah,
no doubt, Shifter. I've had a lot of time for this kid and I am genuinely excited to see where he takes his footy. I call him the creator. He's selling candy and they're buying it. There's so much to like about this kid. I think he's got Marcus Bontempelli type traits. Just his footy IQ and his awareness for mine is what separated him. When I started to look at players around that 192 centimetre mark, plenty to like. A real nice mix too of contested and uncontested ball. He averaged 21 disposals, 5 clearances and 5 tackles in 6 coach games. Almost half of those possessions were contested, so he's maybe lightly built, but lots to like about the way he goes about it on the inside.
Nice field kick, which is something clubs really love, isn't it? Good users of the football shifter.
Yeah, I think that's an essential these days. Maybe not the big ruckman, as long as they're good with their hands and can give it to the little fellas on the run, but most of the other players, the use of the ball is just so important.
And the first player ever, I believe, drafted out of the Parkside Footy Club, so...
Great achievement.
Yeah, congratulations to the club and to Jack.
So Carlton will be pretty happy with that. Jack headed to the Navy Blues, and well, North Melbourne, they've got another pick coming up next at pick 48. They've had a few bids that have been matched. They would have expected that, Mick. They would have known that, you know, you try the bid and it may not come off. They'll have their draft board ready to go. That is a massive room of North Melbourne people there.
Yeah, I think they would have expected it, as we discussed a lot earlier. So I think the Blues would be wrapped. As we see there on the Fox Sports Lab rank, they had him at 27. And to go at 47, they'd be absolutely wrapped. Yeah, no doubt.
With pick 49, the Sydney Swans have matched the bid for Max King from the Sydney Swans Academy and the Cardiff Hawks Junior Football Club.
There we go, a player with great upside. Plays a bit like Cam Zurha, shifter.
Yeah, look, I'm quite amazed he is here at this point in the draft for his potential. He's got enormous potential, this boy from Newcastle. He kicked 2-3 in a game for the Allies. I think it was against WA. It could have been 5 goals. You know, that's how close he was to really breaking the game apart. He certainly took the mark of the day. He kicked the winning goal and then got sick at the back end of the championship, so he didn't get a complete line through what his potential was. He then tested magnificently. He's got, you can see why he'll take the mark of the day. He's got a magnificent running jump. He's quick over 20. Will Hayward, those sorts of boys, that players that marking type forward. Even a little bit of Isaac Heaney, you know, in the way you can get up in the air and be dangerous around the face of goal. They'd be surprised he's still there. He was touted at different times of being a top 20 player, but that just shows how even the draft is in the view of the clubs.
Sydney supporter who loves Isaac Heaney, so what a thrill to be drafted to the Sydney Swans, of course, as part of their academy, but a great story.
With pick 50, Adelaide Crows have selected Archie Ludowick from the Sandringham Dragons and the East Sandringham Junior Football Club.
It was Archie's birthday yesterday. It would have been difficult sitting through the draft and not getting picked up. His moment has arrived tonight. A great forward who has some really impressive overhead attributes.
Yeah, kicked 5 in a game early this year, and I think everyone will be thinking, he's a top 10 choice. He Played for the Australian under-18s and was impressive. Kicked 3 and 2 against VFL opponents. He's got a bit of Aaron Cadman about him, so that left footer, lovely size at 197. And like many of the kids we've talked about for 2 days, just had injuries when the national championships come up. A couple of games in, hurt himself, and we didn't see him in the back half of the year. His aerial ability is pretty special. He's 197. He's only just turned 18, so there's a massive upside with this young fellow. And that marking, when you see him mark the ball at the highest point, is very, very hard to match up on.
Compared to Aaron Cadman, which is quite the comparison.
Yeah, well, I had that down as well, Shifter. So there we go again, great minds, but he just looks super strong on the lead, and it's the extension of the arms. You talk about taking the ball at its highest point. As we see here on the highlights, once he gets out in front, he's very, very hard to defend. He's another left footer. I love his ability too to hold ground and play one-on-one. So he's not a one-trick pony. He can certainly play one-on-one. He can certainly hold his ground in terms of contested marking. They've gone for the similar type. Max King missed on him. 6 centimetres taller. Wouldn't be upset with Archie Ludovic, that's for sure. And
a choice 50, Alistair Lynch 40 years ago went a choice 50.
Our very own Lynchy. He'd love to have that kind of career.